The first scream came from inside my own head before the house made a sound. Okay? It burst through my thoughts, sharp, sudden, and full of pain. Hadn't even stepped inside when I knew the house had already noticed me. The house of screams stood at the end of a dead street where the air felt heavy and unmoving. The windows were dark holes in a face of peeling paint. At the door hung slightly open, as if breathing. Smell of damp wood and rusted metal drifted toward me. Every instinct told me to turn around, but my feet carried me forward. I had grown up nearby and heard the stories since childhood. People said the house was built over something wrong. People said it screamed at night when no one was inside. People said those who listened too long never truly left. I had laughed at those stories once. Standing there now, I did not laugh. The moment I crossed the threshold, the door closed behind me. The sound echoed through the house like a final word. Dust rose from the floor and filled my lungs. The air tasted old and sour. My footsteps sounded too loud and too slow, as if the house wanted me to hear every step. The hallway stretched longer than it should have. The walls were lined with faded wallpaper, stained by dark streaks that looked like dry tears. A single light flickered at the far end. With each step, the floor groaned under my weight. The sound felt like a warning. Low moan drifted through the air. It came from above and below at the same time. It wasn't a voice, but it carried pain. The sound slid under my skin and settled in my chest. I felt my heart beat slow, as if listening. I called out to see if anyone was there. My voice sounded thin and distant. The house answered with a scream. It ripped through the walls, sudden and violent. It was not one voice, but many, layered together. Men, women, children, all screaming in terror and agony. The sound slammed into me and forced me to my knees. I pressed my hands to my ears, but the scream did not fade. It vibrated through my bones. Then it stopped. The silence afterward was worse. My ears rang. My head throbbed. Could still feel the echo of the screams moving through the house like a pulse. Slowly, I stood and moved forward. I told myself the sound was old pipes or trapped air. The lie felt weak. A door stood open to my left. Inside was a living room frozen in decay. Furniture sat covered in dust and mold. A television faced a couch that had sunk inward, as if something heavy had been sitting there for years. Dark stains marked the floor in long trails that led toward the walls. The walls were carved with marks. Deep grooves ran across the wood. Words had been scratched again and again until they blurred together. Help. Stop. Make it end. I reached out to touch the carvings and felt warmth beneath my fingers. A whisper brushed my ear. I turned, but the room was empty. The whisper returned, closer this time. It spoke my name. It sounded like my mother. Then it sounded like my own voice crying. I backed away and stumbled into the hallway. The house groaned in response. The floor shifted under my feet. Doors along the hall began to open one by one. Each revealed a dark room breathing softly. From every room came a different sound. Sobbing, pleading, laughter, twisted and wrong. The noise built layer by layer until it pressed down on me. The house was filling with sound and feeding on my fear. I ran. The hallway twisted and stretched. Stairs appeared where none had been before. I climbed them, two at a time, as screams chased me upward. The sound grew sharper, more desperate. I could hear words now. They begged me to listen. They begged me to stay. At the top of the stairs was a single door. The screaming poured from beneath it like smoke. I reached for the handle with shaking hands. The moment I touched it, everything went silent. I opened the door. The room inside was bare. No windows, no furniture. The walls pulsed slowly, like living flesh. In the center of the floor was a deep, dark opening, like a mouth. Sound poured from it in waves. I saw flashes inside, faces twisted in pain, mouths open in endless screams. The house spoke then, not with sound, but with feeling. It showed me what it was. Long ago, people had been trapped here, some by accident, some by choice. The house fed on fear and suffering. It learned to trap those who heard it. Each scream became part of it. Each voice added to its hunger. The house was never empty. The opening in the floor widened. The screams grew louder. They pulled at me. The memories surfaced unbidden. Every regret, every moment of terror. The house drank them in. I fell to my knees and screamed back. The sound tore from my throat, raw and broken. The house trembled with pleasure. The walls pulsed faster. I felt something pulling at my chest, as if trying to drag my voice out of me. With the last of my strength, I crawled backward. My fingers scraped against the floor. I felt the edge of the doorframe behind me. I pushed and fell into the stairwell. I don't remember reaching the front door. I only remember light and cold air and the sudden absence of sound. I collapsed onto the street, gasping. Behind me, the house stood silent and still. I never went back. I moved far away. I told myself I was safe, but at night, I hear it. When the world grows quiet and my thoughts slow, the screaming returns. It starts soft, then grows louder. I hear the voices clearly now. I recognize some of them, and one voice rises above the rest. It sounds exactly like me. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for listening.